Hi there, and welcome to the Live Vibrant podcast, where we explore how to live with energy, purpose, and intention. I'm your host, Joshua Haag, a holistic lifestyle, performance, and success coach with a background in professional sports and 2 decades of coaching experience. Each week, I sit down with experts across a multitude of fields, including wellness, finance, and personal growth, to uncover practical strategies that will help you thrive in every area of life. Let's dive in and help you live your most vibrant life. I'm super excited to be here with Mathew Arce. He's the CEO and founder of both MGA Consulting and Untethered Holdings. Mathew, thanks for joining us today on the podcast.
Thanks, Josh. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it was kind of funny the way we met. Saunas at gyms, man, are a place to talk. And the one day Mathew was chatting it up with another guy about this Untethered, like this company that he has. And it kind of rang a little bit in my ear that it's a supplement company. It's an energy drink to start, but tell us a little bit about it. Tell us what you do, your background, and then kind of how you got into all this.
It's funny, man. There's been so many situations where I've connected with people and done business from the sauna, and I've seen other people connect at Equinox and do business. I'm gonna just start doing all my meetings from there. But no, man. I think it was great that we met, had a great conversation. So happy to do this, and yeah, Untethered is one of my companies that I'm extremely passionate about. And it really started with being an entrepreneur and really just needing more energy, man. You know what it's like, grind, the hustle, putting out the fires, wearing multiple hats, and you're looking for things to give you energy, things to get you through the day. And unfortunately, a lot of the options that are available are not the best for you health-wise. And that's what I started to realize. I worked with a lot of attorneys as well. There are a lot of them are my clients. And not to completely bash this company, but most people that I know and myself, I was drinking Celsius. I know a lot of people that were drinking Monster, all these other things. And it really messed me up health-wise. I was having crazy anxiety, heart palpitations, my eyes started twitching. It was all of these things from not only the extreme excessive amounts of caffeine, it being synthetic caffeines at that, and on top of that, there's just a lot of hidden ingredients that once I started to do more research, I realized it was something that I personally didn't want to put in my body. And the more research that I did in regards to looking for a product that matched what I wanted, I couldn't find it at the time. And that gave me the inspiration to create something of my own that really fit the bill. And that's what I did.
So tell us about the product. So what did you see that you didn't like? Tell us about what you've created, because I have almost a similar story when it comes to sleep products, right? And it's something where I step back and as an athlete and a performer, and I see what my clients go through in terms of the health and wellness space. It's something where it's like, well, the product you're taking is awful for you. I know it's not dosed effectively. And that's a whole other conversation. And I'm like, well, why can't I do this on my own? Why can't I go create something that I know is going to be amazing for you? And that's why we're here. So Untethered, is the energy drink called just Untethered?
Yeah, the energy drink mix is called Just Untethered. And initially I wanted to get into the liquid formula space, but really it was just taking it one step at a time. It was, completely new field, completely new environment, really just trying to learn the lay of the land. And so I started off doing a powder. And I think it was also easier this way to include all of the ingredients that I wanted. Not only did I do a lot of research, but I've also read books. There's this one Japanese book called Ikigai, and it talks about this specific area in Japan where all these people live to be, well into 90s, 100, and it talks about essentially their way of life, what they eat, their diet, all this stuff. And it always stuck with me because once I got to the chapter that talked about their diet and the things that they ingest on a daily basis, I want to include as many of these things as I can in my drink, which I did. So things like Sampin Cha, Rhodiola rosea, ashwagandha, lion's mane. You go down the list, all these things are amazing for memory retention, brain cognition, natural energy. I even put sea moss in there for gut health. All of these wanted something that just incorporated everything that I had been learning about in the space and what I wanted in my energy drink, which was separating the product and myself from everyone else in the space.
I love that. And now Realistically, what do you see as the really amazing value add or the reason I should be drinking Untethered versus Celsius? Like, what's the secret sauce for you?
So I think most people or most companies have tried their best to stay away from sugar. So my energy drink has absolutely no sugar in it, which I believe is a great benefit. But a lot of these other companies are either using synthetic caffeines, which are not good for you, and they're also having a lot of other hidden ingredients. And if you look at the back of a Celsius can, if you look at the back of a Monster can, if you look at the back of all of these, if there are a bunch of words that you can barely pronounce, it's probably not the best for you.
And I feel like I need to do a PSA here for anyone listening here. If that's with anything, if you can't pronounce what's in it, don't eat it.
Exactly, exactly. And that was one of the main things because it was like all of these things that you just list, and I'm like, dude, let's just keep it simple, and every single ingredient in Untethered you can pronounce, or it's just a plant that was natural. And that's really what I wanted is I wanted the energy coming from natural ingredients, and I wanted the caffeine coming from natural sources as well. I didn't want to use any synthetic caffeines, no sugar, and I really wanted something where when you look at the back, you feel good about drinking it.
Now, you've gone through all your clinical tests, everything, right? It's good, it's approved, all super duper. What have you faced in terms of struggles in putting this all together? Because I know, like, personally, there was a big decision between capsule, powder, and liquid suspension, right? So it's its own bucket of problems to try and suspend a substance like this in liquid that most people don't even realize as you and I have now gone through the rabbit hole of figuring this out. Why did you choose powder? And then what problems have you faced up until this point so far in terms of the actual formulation of this? Because it's complex. People don't understand how hard it is to actually create and tweak and make. It's tough. Tell me about some probably.
Founder's journey, man. If only people knew. No, that's a great question. And the the short answer is so much, so many issues that I ran into. To really focus on some of the main ones, I think the biggest thing for me that I realized is number one, you can't please everybody, right? So you have to know that coming off the bat. You want to please as many people as possible and give them, a great product, but there are things that you're going to learn off of a launch that everything is just trial and error. And your main goal is just to continuously try to make the best product that you can every single round. And if you start to see certain complaints from your customers or just things that you're noticing where it tends to repeat, those are the things that you want to take into consideration and try to change. I think I was so focused on the first round to make a healthy product that I think that because I started using so many different plants and powders that the taste of the formula wasn't what people were expecting. And it was weird because I did get a lot of people that love the taste, and there are a lot of people that love it. But I think that so many other people out there that when you think energy drinks, they're thinking Gatorade. They're thinking,
Pop when it's like licking a lollipop.
right. And a lot of those people you're not going to get anyway, which is fine. But I think it was just something where I was like, okay, I think I can look at alternative options and work with my suppliers and work with these factories to try to get a middle ground and improve the taste, but still not sacrifice um, the benefits of the product and or removing anything from it, which was a huge thing for me. And in regards to why I chose the powder, it really was because I not only, am an entrepreneur, but I go to the gym every day. I'm there. And so it's so much easier for me to have something that I can carry with me and throw in my bag, throw it in my water bottle or my shaker bottle, shake it up, and I'm good to go. I don't need to worry about it. I can travel with it. It's not an issue. So really, it was something that just was an added benefit for me that I felt like anybody that in a similar or always on the go type of situation, it would just benefit them as well.
Right. And now realistically, are you more of like as Untethered, more of like a leaning towards a pre-workout kind of energy right before a workout, or is it more lifestyle, happy substitute for coffee, so to speak?
I'd like to think of it as both and sort of this dynamic product that fits in all fields because I use it a lot of times in the morning before a workout or during my workout, but I'll also have it sometimes in the later afternoon. And I tell people that are coffee drinkers that they can still drink their coffee in the morning And to be honest, I feel like people who drink coffee, it's really for, they want the warm cup and the smell more than like anything else. Because, yeah, it's just not my thing. And if you love coffee, more power to you. But I tell them instead of that second cup at 2 or 3 p.m., I think it might be better to have an untethered that'll get you through the rest of the day and it won't keep you up all night. And I've had an untethered before a business dinner at 7:30, downed it, had the business dinner, came back home and was able to sleep like a baby. So I think
What's your stimulant level? What's your caffeine like and other stimulants in there? How much?
so each untethered stick has about 40 to 50 grams of caffeine, natural caffeine.
Coffee. That's actually a little bit less.
It's definitely less than a cup of coffee. And I think that because it's the natural caffeine, I think also some of the other natural plants that, again, are promoting brain cognition, but then also having ingredients like ashwagandha, which calms the brain too. It's not this aggressive spike, right? It's more of this smooth transition into energy, and then it slowly fades out, which is what I've noticed and has really benefited me. Now, if you're looking for that aggressive pop, or if you want that pre-workout NOS,
Right. It's not the same thing. Right.
it's not for you, and that's completely fine. More power to you. But if you're looking for something that's an alternative that makes you feel really good, gives you a clean sense of energy, and you're able to get through your entire day, but also still not feel wired, so to speak, this is something that could potentially be perfect for you.
I love that. And now, realistically, where are you at in the life cycle of Untethered? How long have you been doing this? Where are you at now in the journey?
So this is probably still early to mid stage. I've been doing this for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And right now, we are actually in the process of improving the formula and branching out with 2 new flavors.
Amazing.
So that's actually what's on the way right now. And improving the formula is there were a couple ingredients that we improved in terms of just collectively health wise, better flavoring across the board. And then we also added a hydration aspect to the formula.
I love that. I very much love that as the both health professional as well as the athlete. I love that. And it's like a electrolyte complex?
Exactly. Yeah. And I
Beautiful.
realized that because a lot of times before my workouts or during my workouts, I was adding Untethered with some other company's hydration. And I'm like, all right, it's time to include both of these. And I've attended trade shows, and I attended the Natural Products Expo, and I really looked and I didn't see anybody that was doing the energy drink hydration. There might have been one company out of everybody that was there. So I felt like that.
The hard part from what I've found in putting it all together is you end up with this premium product. You and I know it's fantastic for you. The problem is you've now added so many different things that somebody needs. They don't validate the price point. They want a Celsius for $2, $2.50, where yours might be $4, but it's also electrolytes. You've now named adaptogens. You've also named like neurotransmitters in terms of lion's mane, things like that. You've named stimulants. You're putting a lot in there. So it's one of those things of like, you and I know it's great for them. The consumer, we have to educate them. So it's a tough conundrum. So I would argue I'm doing the same thing again with sleep, right? Where you're combining so many different, really valuable pieces, but everyone just looks at magnesium and say it's 50 cents a serving. Great. But that's not actually what your body needs and wants. So you understand that. How have you overcome consumer ignorance?
I think what it is and where it starts is believing not only in the product, but also if there's one thing that I learned from going to the Natural Product Expo, it's where the trends are going, and it's really into healthy products. I think this would be a lot more difficult of a conversation, 10, 15 years ago, but there are so many people that are on the health wave. There are so many people that are getting into all of these things that are great for you, being more health conscious, looking at the ingredients more, things like meditation, things like mental health. I think that this whole wave, it really goes hand in hand with Untethered and the branding. And so I truly believe that people will continue on the wave to the point that they're looking for these products. And then it's such a big part of the market right now, like energy drinks, it's such a big business that even if you have
Mhm.
5% of that, You're doing okay.
And that's mind blowing. So like I'm doing my research, right? Other end of the spectrum. The sleep market will be a $162 billion industry by 2030. And people are like, why are you starting this company? You're doing so well in training. And they're like, they don't understand that, like, because all they see is a super crowded marketplace. They don't see that fact of just like, if I can have the smallest dose of the big pie, I'm doing great. I'm not trying to replace, Ollie over here. That'd be great if I do, but like, the smallest piece of the pie is a huge win for a small company, and then you get bought out.
Exactly. And you see it all the time with, these companies that start something that people didn't necessarily know that they needed or wanted. There's that company Poppy, right? Started by mom, creating something that's good for your gut, and then they get bought by Pepsi for I forget how much, some crazy amount, and that's just the way that it works.
In terms of your creation process, especially being a powder, did you do any of the third-party testing getting off the ground, or are you waiting to do that until your final formula?
That's a good question. A lot of the testing was done mainly by internally with
Manufacturer.
the
Yeah.
manufacturer.
Yeah.
But a lot of what I'm planning to do in terms of not only for marketing but also in regards to the taste is going to be third party for the new formula.
I will tell you this, and obviously you probably know more than I do in the long haul, but something that was told to me is your manufacturer will do a test, but a lot of the times it is not held to the same standard that if you get a call from CVS or Whole Foods or Ralph's or a big chain, they're going to have very specific standards that you have to meet as a provider. And if you don't have the backed paperwork, the big call is gone. So it's something where once your formula is set, it's just something to think about. Once you finally get that version 2, version 3, and you're like, yo, we made something special. Get that third party test done. It's a little bit of a price point. It's not too much, but it's a little price point, and it will prepare you for that moment. Because from what I understand, and I spoke to a compliance lawyer at one point, there's a very, very small window that they're willing to wait. So it's basically you get the phone call, there's a window, and if you don't have your paperwork, just be like, yeah, look how good we are. Because all the business has been built on this theoretical win. So they want to see that the business has been built on a real opportunity. You have room. You don't have to do it like immediately, or like a mistake that people will make is like they'll get it done on V1, version 1 of your product. But the problem is you changed it 3 times. So you have to get it tested again, right?
The product's not done.
Correct. Just food for thought if you've never thought down that path. It's very interesting. And like I originally was like, I have a formula guy and my manufacturer, and they're going to take care of me. And everywhere I looked, it's like, not really. They're going to protect themselves.
Exactly.
And I had no idea. So just
Yeah.
industry person to another person. Where did you get Untethered? Go ahead. Go.
No, I was just gonna say I think that falls into another one of those trial and error things that you learn along the way, and you just continue to be like, oh, okay, I do this, and I try my best to talk to as many people who are in the same or a similar field that are maybe a year or two ahead of me, maybe even more than that, and then that way they can just give you the game and have you skip a couple mistakes or steps to get you to the end goal faster. But definitely
Well,
appreciate that.
I'm literally sitting in the same seat looking at you. What's something that's been taught to you from someone looking up?
I think one of the main things is I would say one of the main things is to not get attached to the initial idea
Ooh,
because
okay.
because you'll have the idea and you know what you want, but to more focus on the end goal because that first thing that you had in your mind is not what it's going to be. It's going to be
Interesting.
something there, and you have to be open to that. And whether if it's, this change or this tweak or that, and eventually you will get there, but don't be married to the initial thought, just the end goal.
Yeah, I love that. I heard somewhere someone talked about basically founders getting in the way, and the fact of they're so diehard of this is what I was trying to create. This is this amazing idea, but the business wants to completely evolve and change, but they're limiting that, right? That's really good.
Right. Yeah.
This is why I brought you on. Thank you.
That's a big one that I've taken in mind for other businesses as well.
Amazing. And now what is just for the sake of it, what is MGA Consulting?
So MGA Consulting is my marketing agency that I started about 4 years ago. And we do various forms of marketing from outdoor marketing, digital marketing, strategic partnerships, promotional products, a variety depending on our client and their needs. So the marketing background definitely helps in to promote the product, but it's a good amount juggling both and making sure that both businesses get the right amount of attention. And obviously, MGA has been established for a little bit more, so it has a little bit more legs under it. So a lot of times, Untethered gets, yeah, more attention. But yeah, it's definitely just as meaningful, if not a little bit more meaningful.
Now, I'm assuming you what?
I said you can't tell one kid you love it more than the other, you know?
You have a favorite son.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you use MGA obviously to market Untethered?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
How has the marketing game been?
Untethered is a client of MGA.
Okay. How has the marketing game been? Because that's something I'm staring down the barrel of what's the best way and what works, what doesn't. How's that been?
It's been a learning process because when you're working on someone else's business and creating ads for them, the formula is kind of the same, but you have to approach each differently. And I think for an e-commerce product and something that is as different of a product in its own lane as Untethered is, I feel like I had to approach it and also take a couple steps back because I was so involved in it as well. So I really just had to look at it from a different perspective and really treat it as if it is a real client instead of just, okay, I think this or I think this, and really getting some more feedback from my team and trusting the process as much as I can as well.
I love that. And now, are you specifically digital media? What do you break down in terms of marketing Untethered?
Untethered has been more ads. So digital marketing, I'm running ads across Meta, Google, also a little bit in regards to programmatic. But we're gonna do a lot more creative works social media wise with the new formulas and when they're ready to go.
Why? Why the shift?
I have a lot of ideas and a lot of new forms of marketing that are extremely creative that I want to test the market with. And instead of pushing it with the current formula, I want to wait for the new one, and I think that'll give it an extra jump start to really test out the how successful it'll be.
Amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, I heard interesting statistics back and forth about whether or not social media in terms of meta ad spend is really still a strong foothold or if it's a tailoring off. What are your takes there for the business, for the entrepreneurs listening? Do you feel it's a really viable source or is it starting to taper a little bit? Oversaturation, price point, like the whole nine yards.
You know, that's a great question because I think at times it can feel oversaturated, and sometimes it is. But I feel like that's also sometimes people being lazy. Because I feel like if you're running an ad and you're copying someone else, or you're doing something that just is going through the motions, or I tested a few things out and it didn't work. So, digital marketing doesn't work. It's like, no, did you really try? Did you really try to think outside of the box? Did you do your research? Did you try a bunch of different tactics? Also, for user generated content, I feel like people, when you're watching a video, you can tell if someone is being paid or doing something for an ad, and it doesn't hit the same way as if someone genuinely really appreciates and enjoys your product and creates a video speaking to that. I mean, that is one of the most valuable forms of content that you could ever have for any product. So I feel like you can figure out a way to generate that and create those moments. It's social media marketing is invaluable.
'Cause that's the stem that I started to think down because I've had a hit or miss relationship in terms of my performance business with digital media. And when I say that, I mean ad spend. And I'm like, okay, how can I think outside the box? And this concept of the micro influencer has really come about, right? 6 to 10,000 people, they have enough of a following, but not too much. And we can talk marketing strategy back and forth all day of just like what works, what doesn't. It's all a guessing game. But that's the user generated content where you actually get product into people's hands. You're trying to really make change for somebody, and then that is what you sell. So it's interesting that you say that because that's literally where my girl who's doing my socials and back end, we go back and forth on this all the time. That's where we ended up. So it's very interesting that kind of full circle. That's where you came to.
Yeah. And I
I love
think what
that.
it really I think what it really stems down to is what we were discussing earlier, where you have to do everything you can to make the product so good that it does the marketing itself. If you feel like you're doing all of this marketing and spending all of this money on marketing, and for some reason it's not hitting and it's not working, the truth is that it could be that your product isn't good enough, and that's okay. It's just you need to figure out ways to improve, to improve this over here, tweak this over here, and just make it the best product possible, so that way, yes, you can work with people and some of these micro influencers that will speak honestly about your product if they do like it, but you might get someone that just purchased it or someone recommended it and they love it so much that they create a organic video and that happens to go viral and it changes
Of your company, everything.
it changes your life. Um,
It's kind of crazy sitting back because, like, I come from a service business background. Everything is service, one-on-one, small group kind of concept. Where now all of a sudden I'm staring down the barrel of product, right? It's now product facing. It's not me. I know I'm wonderful. I know I have a great rapport. I'm fun. I make you smile. We'll work out. We'll work hard. I'll get you big and buff. Great. I have no problem selling that. Now it's staring down the barrel of, okay, how can I get this image and this concept across from my mind via this little bottle and some imagery? It's been a very unique kind of ride to completely change realistically the game on myself. Marketing is marketing. I get it. But like the vehicle at which you're delivering is completely different. So it has been a eye-opening experience in terms of trying to figure all this out. It's hard. There's a reason why people don't go into business. I get it. I absolutely get it.
Yeah, and I think it's there's a lot of people who will just say, oh, you need to get into business for yourself, or you need to, oh, create your own thing. It's like, it's not for everybody. It really isn't. And you realize that once you get into the weeds and you get into the thick of it. But I think if you enjoy the process and you just understand, even though it's tough, it's not easy at times, it's stressful, but when you really think about that, you are creating something that just came from a thought and bringing it into the real world, into real life. And I think that you probably know just as well as I do that when you have someone that truly, genuinely enjoys the product that you created out of nothing, it's unmatched. It's an incredible feeling. I'm chasing it.
It's chasing a high every time. Now you just want to do it over and over again. I get that. I 100% get that. Man, talk about a kind of a. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and to be honest, I'm kind of doing the same thing with MGA because at times you can get into this loop process of, okay, well, I'm doing this or this, I'm gonna do this billboard or create this promotional product and whatever. To be honest, what I really want is I want to create a company that helps other people and entrepreneurs and businesses grow their business. I feel like that if I can say that I helped this person go from where they were at in their company or their entrepreneurship and they were able to 3x that, 5x that, 10x that because of my services. I mean, that is a level of service um, that I that gives me the same type of high as if someone drinks a stick of alcohol and feels great.
Realistically, it's realistically the dream. There's no other way to put it, right? As a service provider, it is the dream. Well, I love that, man. You what?
Just looking at a variety of different ways of how to serve. That's really important to me.
Oh, yeah. So give me your sales pitch. Give me your where do I find you? Where do I buy Untethered? Give me like the whole spiel and do both. So give me Untethered first and foremost. Where do I find you? How do I pick it up as we close out here?
Yeah, so Untethered is www.drinkuntethered.com. You can follow us at drinkuntethered on Instagram. All you can purchase Untethered from there. I would say that we're gonna have that new flavor and formulas towards the end of this year. So definitely be on the lookout for those. That's gonna be a really exciting launch, and it's going to turn into a variety of different things. We're going to do Untethered events, and eventually it'll break out into a variety of products for Untethered Holdings. So whether if it's things for people that are active and working out, it'll be products that are geared towards that, but also other things as well. And then anybody that's out there that's an entrepreneur that's looking for advice, ways to grow their business, ways to try to, again, 10x 5x where they are. We can chat, just go www.consultmga.com, and we can connect and see if we can help you grow your business in whatever way I can do that. Even if it's just some advice, that's something that I love to do.
That's amazing. Thank you, Matthew. This is awesome. This has been personally a super wonderful podcast. I loved having you on, and thank you for your insight and advice. It means the world. I really mean that. Thank you. And until next time, I have a feeling I'll beg you to come back on at some point down the line. So until next time.
This was great, man. I really appreciate the conversation. Love chatting with you, and you won't have to beg too much. I'll definitely come back.
Awesome. Thanks, Matthew. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Take care.